So welcome everybody to the Academy of Animated Arts Community Critique and Chill. Today we have a bunch of submissions, both video and photos, and so I'm excited to go through those and chat about them all together. As always, Diana's here hosting with me, and then we have a whole bunch of members from the community who we'll chat with and give critique to everybody's work and yeah, just have fun. So we will start with the um, let's start with the video side of things. And since Jordan is here, what we're going to do first is start with Jordan's reel. Now Jordan says all of the actual comps are locked and can't be changed any further, but he wants to know kind of like how we feel about the way they're being presented. Anything else,
Yeah.
Jordan?
No, I mean that's it. Just the
Cool.
real presentation, trying to figure out how to make a good like VFX. So we're all for, as we all know. I mean, VFX is seems so similar, but it's so different. So I don't really know how VFX recruiters think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
And first, before you forget, you share your screen on Discord.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, I'm going to start sharing my screen.
A resident bell for share your screen on Discord. Like a bunch of times.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, there you go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
All righty, now I'm going to go full screen. And here we go. Nice. First, those are some cool shots you worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like they're preparing you to do some Lion King compositing.
I didn't compositing, just the lighting, but most of the like compositing was kind of yeah, it was mostly just A over B. It was like nothing too hard.
Mhm. I
A
can,
over B if you light it right.
Yeah.
Also, like, yeah, there's like not too much interaction and stuff. For comp, you can just put it over.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is maybe put some breakdowns if you're able to do that, or maybe not anymore even, but um
I only have a breakdown for the first one. For the
you
I didn't actually put it in here because I talked to I don't know, I had talked to one of the people who trained us and I was like, "Oh, do I should I have a breakdown?" And she's like, "No, you don't need one. Just describe what you did on a shot."
mm, yeah.
So, well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
fine. Like I don't know too much about VFX reels either, though. Kind of only one that I've seen is Laura's, and that one seemed like a really good example of a VFX lighting reel. And she had, breakdowns, and
Okay.
she did like put a basically a visual description of what her intentions were and what she did in the reel. So that was cool.
Mhm.
But I definitely don't know if that's a good it's a required thing or if it's like a good idea to do that for all of them.
I mean, didn't she was she the one who got the job at NPC or was that someone else?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I guess it worked, huh? So maybe I should look at that as an example.
I,
I
I,
have a breakdown for the lion one. I think I had saved out I saved out three lights. I have the HDRI, I have the light extraction from the original plate, and then I have the projection. Um, I'd set up the projection and then I have that little bit of bounce as well.
mhm.
I don't know. I didn't have a breakdown just because I'm like, oh, three lights. That's not super detailed, but
I think
maybe
I think you could do it,
you think they could.
and I
Okay.
think I think like of the three, this to me is the most successful.
Yeah.
And so I think it'd be cool to see a breakdown of it. And I think that honestly, that would be more relevant than I think having personal photography would.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that this should just like I think it's great to have it on your website as a separate tab. But I would say like if you're, if you're like a going for a VFX lighting position, like keep the real focus just to that,
Oh, okay. All right.
and
So
then let them find out more about you once they see your reel and get hooked.
okay. So get rid of the photography, keep it on a category that's relevant to it, and then add a breakdown. I am so lucky that I decided that I should save out the light for each frame for this because I was honestly thinking, I don't need a breakdown. I'll just keep it as is. But then I'm like, you know what? I might as well just save out one. And I did. It was not fun, but I got it. I mean, I had to render out one frame of each of the lights and send it to the farm, and we all know how Groom goes. So
in fact, I don't know how Groom goes, so you can explain.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
for lighting, it's just not. It will take forever. Like if I didn't send it on the farm,
You didn't. You mean you rendered out, you sent it to the farm from Nuke?
from Katana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the Groom lighting is just imagine what your Arnold renders take, and then add like 3 to 5 times to that on top of motion blur.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And you have to have like your light bounces set to like 6. So
Gotcha.
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah, it's intense.
Did anyone else have any suggestions or feedback?
yeah. Anybody seen any good visual effects lighting reels or anything like that? Just getting started. I think people will talk. It's fine. But like seriously, no pressure. But
Yeah.
if you do want to, totally feel free.
I think that you summed it up pretty well for us.
Cool.
Sorry.
He was saying that we summed it up pretty well.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to see the next version. And
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next video we have, which is from, let me double check names because I'm terrible with names. I think it's Hisham, but I just want to double check. Yeah, Hisham. Great. So this has gone, I think, through a couple different iterations over the past couple months. And I'm very excited to kind of see where it is now. All right, here we go.
Love it.
That's such a good song.
Can everybody hear that too?
No.
No.
Hear it.
Okay.
This, yeah, song is a pretty critical part of it, but
It's the song is stuck in my head because I already watched this earlier and I can just hear the audio.
Yeah.
yeah.
What are people's initial thoughts?
I like the 80s feel. I think it is pretty successful. I think that works out really well. There's one thing I'm noticing. When you go to the car area, I'm noticing that the lights on it don't look very dynamic. Like what I would expect when I'm driving like that is reflections to bounce off the car. Like the light on the car looks static, like it's not moving. The reflections are not changing. I would kind of expect like a driving by feel where you have the reflections
Mm-hmm.
coming and going. You have it coming off the character. You have it coming off the car.
Like some spec hits, almost like kind of
Yeah, like
giving the sense of traveling really fast.
yeah, like I'm feeling the sense of movement from the car, but I'm not feeling it with the lights It's almost like
Yeah,
yeah, it needs to. I think it could if it could be better integrated with the movement of the environment, then I think that'll really level up the feeling of the shot being very dynamic.
yeah. Like if some of this um, was kind of like you could see it here on the car passing by in the reflection.
Maybe
Mm.
not necessarily even the set reflected. Like it doesn't have to be that specific, but just some of the highlights moving by. I wonder if it's animated like the cars. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah, and I do feel I do think the character's skin is a little too shiny. It's not that noticeable for most of the frames, but there's some parts.
Yeah, like
Uh,
here they look almost like a Ken doll or something.
yeah,
Like just a little bit of plastic feel.
yeah, or like right after he puts the sunglasses up, I think is when it's a little bit more apparent around here. Yeah, like after this or here too, but he stands up and then right
Yeah,
there.
there's that really long spec hit.
Would that just be a roughness increase?
Yeah, roughness, and I feel like there's some maps in there to break it up, but the roughness does feel a little low.
I think I noticed it in the frames after too. Like I felt it on the other characters at the end. Um, like in I think frame like yeah, like if you look at the father and his daughter, their skin. I think it could feel a little bit more organic. I think it's coming through on those characters too a little bit.
Mm.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think for the other ones or for the yeah, this part, I think it could even just work by toning it down like in comp because that's kind of a big fix to re-render, but I think if
Yeah,
you like took out the spec pass and kind of graded it down,
that
I
could
think that
help.
I think that could help, yeah, without having to actually change the asset.
Anyone else have any thoughts? Anything you really like about it? Anything? Any suggestions?
Can we look at the end where like we see the real world?
Yeah.
I feel like the the little girl's face is like a lot brighter than the guy on the left.
Mm.
And I don't know, or sorry.
No, it's a good call.
Yeah.
And maybe there should be more of a rim on his head. Something I don't know.
Yeah, she's farther away from the light source, so I think
Yeah.
he on her could come down a little bit. I think the
Hmm.
guy looks fine, but yeah, was it Andrew? Go on.
Huh? What was that?
Somebody saying something?
Oh, I was thinking the guy's face was actually a little flat, in my opinion, for the lighting. Because if we were matching it to the girls, then he would have more of an intensity coming off the back. So I don't know. I can go either way depending on you know where the intensity of the light actually wanted to be or not.
Yeah, I think yeah, you both have good points, and like I'm trying to think. We're going from like this hyper colorful like world where it's like he's got this glow on him. There's like this focus on like me, and then here like it's such a stark change that it would be nice if it was very quick to read these characters and like their impatience with him and like his self-absorption. And
Mm.
I think some of the like Austin, what you were saying with the rim, I think if there was a rim on the father separating him from the background, and then like balancing the daughter a bit more so she's not blown out, and then maybe even giving him a little rim to like, or I mean, he already has some, but like play with like making a connection between them, um, and this side is like is super bright. I think it might be the brightest thing in the frame. So maybe there's a way to kind of shift some intensity to bring the viewer's eye more here as soon as that quick snap change happens.
Yeah, and kind of adding to that point, I feel like the game screens being animated is like a really nice touch, but I feel like when the gameplay starts, it's a little bit distracting. Maybe you could loop the part where it's like waiting to start or like that blinking part. I don't do,
Mhm.
what do you think, Forrest? I don't think it needs to play ghosts
I guess
suddenly.
I feel like I like it, but
You
I,
like
I
it?
know what you mean, but I think there's like a compromise of darkening the screens and then maybe upping the reflectivity so that there's more of a reflection
Yeah.
of what's going on. So it could be more well integrated into the story, not necessarily the scene because I think they look great, but like
Uh-huh.
they are like you're right that they could pull away and maybe if there's more of a reflection of the characters here, that could be like an interesting addition.
Reflection could also wash it out a little bit. I do feel like it's pretty contrasty on the screens.
If I mean like yeah, yeah, that's definitely a good thought. Yeah, totally.
I think one thing I'm noticing is a lot of the main materials in the room are very like metallic. Like I feel like they like the floor is very reflective, the chairs reflective, the like the arcade machines are very reflective. I mean this is kind of more of a look dev note, but the floor to me, the pattern looks like it could be carpeting, but it's reflecting. It feels like it's reflecting more of a metallic. So I think maybe to get more of variety of texture in the room, I would try to make it like a velvety kind of carpet, just to have it less, because there's just so much reflective things, and I feel like as a viewer, I feel like I would maybe prefer maybe to have some carpet to have some variety and texture. You know, like the carpet for the floor,
Hmm.
picking up more of picking up the light in a different way, and then you have the reflectivity of the machines and the little toy. Like right now, everything that's not the humans are reflective and very specky. So I would like maybe make the floor like a carpet. I think that would actually make it look very kind of visually rich, like just having that variety and feel in the room.
Definitely would be like a blast to like the 80s and 90s, having like this
Yeah,
like
exactly. I'm just feeling like
squiggly line carpet.
yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like when I go to an arcade, I think of the weird pattern carpet, and then everything else is reflecting and glowing in my face, but the carpet doesn't
Hmm.
like have that reflectivity. So
Hmm. Anyone else have any thoughts on that or on something different? Sorry,
Do you wanna
I just started to
go?
notice this, and I was like, there's just some weird light shaping going on in the hair.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Aaron, I think, was saying
Oh,
something.
okay. Yeah, I was. First of all, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Like really
it's great.
amazing. The room on the right is. Are you implying that there's lights like all the lights are on in the building? Like I know the light on the left is from a big window, right?
Yeah, no, I don't
I
think
think,
these are on. I think it's just the
yeah,
arcade cabinets and then this light coming from the outdoors.
Oh, okay. So you want the rest of the building to kind of be dark. That's why the there's like less light to the right of the room,
Gotcha.
mhm.
Yeah,
like in the
and
right.
especially it's like this object is catching so much light. It's like almost overexposed in certain parts. And so my eye is drawn to this area. Um, and so, that could be either bringing down the values of the shader, or in comp, darkening this area. Or,
It's a little.
oh, go ahead. What did you say, Dana?
No, I just said just a little bit because
Yes.
I think it's selling the like direction of the light. So, but yeah, I see what you mean. So maybe just a tiny bit.
Just a tad. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're very right that it is selling it. Sweet. Alrighty. Well, let's move on to the images that have been submitted. Alrighty. So we'll start with people who are here. So first we have Juan. So I brought in both, which we did this last time as well, but I just wanted to look at like the before and after. I know Mike gave a suggestion of adding some like more rim light to some of the trees, and
Or removing.
or removing.
Hmm.
Oh, I thought it was add. You're totally right. So here is the before. Here is the after. Wish I had these like perfectly. It's close enough now.
Can't really tell on Discord. I can tell if I flip back on my
I
screen.
think you might have copied the same image. I saw a difference before.
Yeah, but the like banner at the bottom is different, so
Oh, that's
I'm
true.
confused.
I
I
think
thought I saw a difference before.
it's
It's
there's like an added bit of edge blur to the trees here,
Oh, wait.
is what I'm noticing.
We did add it. I thought you took it away. Okay, I saw that wrong then.
Yeah, so there's some added edge blur. And then if you post in the chat one, I'll if like you want to say what else you changed, or are working on, let us know and we can address that directly.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
I mean, it's just a lovely image overall.
Yeah.
Like, makes me think of like the Grinch. Like, I feel like I could like see him standing up here, like staring down at the warmth and being angry about it.
Plotting.
Yeah,
Against.
like this feels just like so nice and warm in here, and like you have some nice shaping of the interior lights, so it doesn't just feel like a solid block of orange. They feel like they're coming from like sources that they would come from. If you were going for like realistic, I would say desaturate them, but if you're not, then I think that they're at a really nice color.
Yeah, I think they look great.
Yeah.
Like maybe the smoke is a little sharp, but it's like so lighter.
Yeah.
That was like the one thing I thought when I saw the first version, but I was like, eh.
I mean, you could do some
Really?
edge wrap to it, like some edge blur.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I'm noticing is like this area feels like super illuminated to me. Like not the front of the tree, but like it's like there's almost like there's some sort of light source in between the trees, and kind of casting this glow on some of them.
Like the trees on the left are like brighter center of frame and then get darker, but the rim on the right is a little bit stronger than the one in the middle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I like the depth of field. Like there's like this nice little speck hit right here. Yeah, let me see if you said anything in the. You added a bit of rin on some of the trees suggested by Mike. Cool.
Yeah.
yeah, then I'd say just like move that rim over here and then let these fall off a little bit more, like Diana is saying.
Mm. So cozy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
yeah. Any other thoughts or comments?
I think there was on the top right window, um, above the window, you can see a little bit of the orange. It's like bleeding through, I think, because of the spotlight. Right.
Like here?
Or it's like behind the window, like directly to the left of it, like connected to the roof. Sorry.
Oh,
Like
he-
up at top, on top and behind it.
like this
Oh
right
wait,
here,
sorry. Below the chimney,
below the chimney.
the right window,
Oh,
like
like
yeah, that part.
oh, man, great eye.
Yeah, that's like a smudge.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's worth looking at.
yeah, for sure.
It just looks
'Cause,
like
yeah, I
it's bleeding through the building.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's a great thought. And that way, like I think, like, because this is so lovely, this like,
Mhm.
and like
Yeah.
so if any kind of like accidental overspills are fixed, I think that'll help kind of draw more attention to that. This is maybe almost overexposed and a little bit like it's battling
Mhm.
for it'll like it almost looks like a liquid instead of like the warmth on the snow. So maybe look at playing with the values there.
Mm. Like where the orange is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just looks like a little bit like it's one solid value. And then it kind of like almost looks like it's running down here. Anyone else? Cool. Well, then we will move on. Let's go to Austin. So, Austin, is this your first Academy critique and chill?
Yeah, it's my first critique intro.
Thanks for joining and thanks for submitting too. Really excited to talk about both of these,
Hey, thanks for hosting.
of course. Okay. Oh, there it is. Just want to be able to jump back and forth between the ref quickly. Do you want to talk a little about what kind of your goals are with both of these pieces?
I wanted to practice. I wanted to practice character lighting. I do want to work on stuff for like my portfolio. Although I I I don't know what I'm doing with the background. I feel like I don't love using this this image for it, so I'll probably just like make something and put it in front of something, kind of like, I don't know. I was thinking like what people use for like the high school photos, um, for
Oh, yeah.
the backgrounds, but I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
Juan does that. Like
Yeah.
he's done a couple like portraits that I think are in this channel. Like if you go far enough back, where he uses like a backdrop like that, and then like focuses on the character lighting.
Yeah, I think I saw his in for this asset actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great idea and like a great way to kind of have it like focused on that.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah, because like like if you wanted this to like fit in all the way, you'd have to like work on kind of like,
Yeah.
masking things out and getting them to sit in it. But like I think that this is a really cool reference, and like if if we just focus on that side of the frame. Does anyone have any thoughts right away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One, I think it looks really. Oh, sorry. Did I talk over someone?
No,
You're
just
good.
cool.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think it's really good so far. Like you're doing a really good job at making it feel integrated in the environment and kind of going for the reference. I think you're really really close to it, and it's really looking successful already. So props for that. Looks really solid. Let's see. The only difference I'm noticing is like if you take a look at the speck on her skin on the left. Mm, well, at the end of the day, though, I do realize there's a difference in skin tone, so I'm trying to like make sure I'm not giving a incorrect note or something. I'm just noticing like on the original image, the light seems to be brighter, but that could also be a difference in skin tone. So I don't. Yeah, like the orange just seems slightly hotter, but I don't really. That could be a difference in just skin tone, though. So I don't know.
There's definitely
Yeah,
like,
for the
oh, go ahead, Diana, sorry.
no, yeah, the skin is definitely different, but I guess yeah, that's just what I was gonna say. I think it makes a difference for the key light. Like it's not as soft, but the spec is pretty important for this asset. So
Hmm.
I did play with making her more like yellowish, or making the color a little bit. I just felt bad making her so orange.
I think I have something.
Hmm.
Yeah, you really. I just want to start with saying you really nailed the orange mainline on the face. You notice with the Harry Potter, not Harry Potter. Oh my god,
oh my
I
god.
forget what movie this is from. Daniel Radcliffe. But anyway, you notice how his eye is pretty dark in here, and then in your version, you did the same a bit, but I think you only did it halfway, so it looks like her eye is like half closed and rolled back or something like that. You know, I would either darken the whole eye or just brighten the whole thing, so that way she doesn't look like half lidded, lazy eyed, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about that's what I was gonna mention the looking at the eyes. I think it would be really nice if you could get the eye looking like the reference because that is just like perfect in the iris. So it would be a great exercise if you could try to do that, or you could change it up and do something different. But I think that would be a good idea.
Mm.
The other thing I want to kind of point out is try to look at the difference in shadows, especially so like right on her armpit and compared to on the reference, like right where that armpit is, like the sleeve and kind of this neck collar. The shadow, yeah, on your render is kind of more dark and kind of like a what like a you can't really see any variation in that shadow area. I think it's just a little bit too dark and the shadows are too sharp. Like the shadow of the earring and then also the shadow under her chin and on her chin. Stuff like that I think you could work on softening that. And also the shadow from her little like shirt thing. Yeah, just I would work on softening those shadows and maybe bringing up the values just a little bit too. Think you have a couple lights. I think maybe you have a couple lights. I'm not sure where you might want to soften the shadows.
Oops, sorry.
Because yeah, you don't really see like hard edges in the reference.
The only thing that I noticed was just if you're trying, assuming you're trying to match the lighting exactly, is just that her turquoise secondary light could be brought down by a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
bright just compared to the reference.
Yeah, Austin, are you trying to stick to it or moving away? I think in your last critique, Mike liked the like turquoise light. So I don't know where you want to go with that.
I think it would be better to try and match it. You know, at least
Mhm.
practice with that.
Then yeah, I would suggest making it less of a rim and having it a little bit like because like you can see its influence here and here and like pretty much up until here. So yeah, I would look into bringing it around a little bit more to not front facing, but like kind of split the difference and let some of the cheek, like some of these the cheek areas, like there's hardly any warmth. There's like this tiniest hint of warmth there, but it's mostly that kind of dark blue um, moon or whatever the other source is for the shot.
Yeah, there's no warmth on that side of his face. If you just cover the screen left side of his face, he looks like death.
Yeah,
And
I was like,
if it's from
staring at it.
Swiss Army Man, then he is
He is
literally death.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny how he's done so much since Harry Potter, but we look at him and it's just like Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
If you're looking for like to just be totally dumbfounded, watch the first 10 minutes of Swiss Army Man.
It's a great movie. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was gonna say something else. I think so. Like with the campfire, it's very clear that like the source is like mainly here, and then hitting his nose, and then like it kind of gets a little bit darker as we kind of move down, and some of that might be material based too. But
Is his bones? I think maybe his bone structure might be like helping that out a lot. Like the way his the skull of his head is.
the way,
Does that make sense?
yeah, and he's also tilted. Like
Yeah,
this,
that too.
like the model. I mean, like it's got kind of one pose, obviously, so like it's kind of straight ahead, where his head is tilted. So you're right, Aaron, that's definitely playing to like it's going to be tricky to match it 100 because your model isn't going to be like their body this way and their head this way. Yours is all kind of going to be this one way. Gesundheit.
Bless you.
And then, yeah, Diana is right. Like it's just way too high contrast right now. So like, um, working on bringing these like black values up, like the shadow values up, um, will help. Like, because the only places where it's really like, it doesn't really get like pure black, and that might even be like just because of the screenshot or whatever, but it doesn't really start until, halfway across his body. Um, because there's even some value in here, in these dark areas, this blue showing up. And then in here, we just have like this deep pocket of darkness. And then I think your bump value on the shirt might be a bit too high. I'd look at bringing the bump down. But I think this is really cool. And I think this is a fun reference to be like trying to match and play with.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that's jumping out to me. I can't tell like if this is a really shallow. I feel like this is really, really shallow. I feel like here is out of focus, but I can't tell like that if it is like if you go back to the original, you could always play with turning her a bit more and playing with like a shallow depth of field. But that
Maybe his like neck is out of focus,
yeah,
like his shoulder. So
yeah, you're right. It's
like literally just that one eye is in focus.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
All right. Any others on this one before we move to the other whip? Cool. All right. Well, then here's what number 2. What film is this from?
Pariah. I haven't seen it. I just used a website.
Mhm.
I've who directed that? I'm blanking on her name right now.
I can look it up.
She's in Master of None, or she wrote it at least.
These reads.
Yes. Um,
Or D
yeah. She's in Master of None, and my partner and I have been really wanting to see Pariah. Yeah, it's a cool reference.
Yeah, definitely.
My initial thought right away is that she almost feels like a cell shaded character right now. Like
Absolutely. What is
there's a game called Borderlands, or like it feels almost comic book.
Mm,
Um,
oh,
there's this kind like
oh yeah.
there's it's like almost like there's like a black outline on her, and some of the clothes too, and then like there's like a very hard gradient, not a soft gradient. So it almost feels like a comic book style.
Yeah, I will say, on the previous whip as well, there I think you have a little bit of a black outline issue, maybe
Yeah,
a new thing.
yeah.
So yeah, wasn't gonna. I think that's just the what's happening in both of them.
I think when I do a different background, that I should be able to fix it there, right?
When
Can you
you
say that again?
Oh, when I like put it over a different background, that's I should be able to fix it there, right? For
I
the
think
outline.
well, I think the outline for that, are you using Nuke or something for compositing?
For this one I use Nuke. For the other one I just did it on Photoshop.
Gotcha. Yeah, it might just be how you're like either adding or plussing.
Yeah.
But then like I think it's not just the outline that's making me feel like it's cell shade. I think it is also like like a really like harsh contrast. Like so like the values between the lights and the darks are really stark. Like if we look at your reference, like you can see like it's very like there's like a very subtle fall off in some of these darker areas into the light. There's a subtleness to it. Um, and I think that actually I think like it's like getting close, but then it's like you can see the lines. Like
Yeah.
there's a line here, there's a line here. Um,
The
whereas
shape happening in like blocks of value rather than like a smooth gradient down the cheek. And I think that could be like depending on how you look at it, solved or changed by like the first thing that stands out to me are the light outlines and the shadow and the hard shadows in this one as well. Like under the cheek, there's 3 lines, like the really dark, that one, and then the 2 kind of curved ones. And then also on her left shoulder, there's like a light outline, I think. I mean, I think you could start by like increasing the radius on all of the lights for a soft lighting scenario like this.
mhm,
That would probably take it a long way. It would get rid of all these lines and then probably soften out the shaping on her face a lot as well.
yeah,
So I would start there, but yeah.
if you think about your sources on this, like it's a cloudy day, so it's a huge soft bounce or like a huge soft light that's like giving this lighting on both the characters' right sides, and then the bounce from that kind of filling in. So maybe even play with like reducing the amount of lights but increasing the size, like Diana's saying. Um, and then you won't have like all these kind of competing shadows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for this, it does look like you're using spotlights, but for a scenario like this, I would say like you can think about it as the whole left side of the sky being the light source. So that's like a huge light source. So I would try putting like a really big area light as a key light instead of a spotlight. Because like it would be like a huge plane that's acting as a light source, and it would kind of that would be more in line with the sky being the light source. And same for the bounce light as well. If you put like a huge light under them, it would be really, really soft. And it would make sense for this reference.
Mm-hmm.
Try that out. Thank you.
Oh, what'd you say?
Oh, I said I'll try that out. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you're taking the spec in a great direction. And I think having the big sources will just take that up to 100. Nice work.
I was also going to say there's something happening with your shirt. I think you might be using like a bounce card or something that's just cutting off some of the light right through
Yeah.
the middle of your shirt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the end of the edge of the spotlight. So
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
we'll see. Yeah, but like this is a great exercise in kind of like really, really soft lighting and avoiding any hard shadows basically anywhere on her. So excited to see the next version.
Yeah, me as well. And I'll try to watch Pariah before the next one too. Nice work again, Austin.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for submitting.
Yeah. All right, next up is Jesse. So we have this work in progress, which they asked us to guess whose house this is.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Oh,
Link's from The Legend of Zelda.
I just saw that now. I didn't see that when he posted it.
I did think it was Zelda, but I don't really know anything about
I mean, it could.
But
I mean, I'm just guessing it could, like, but I mean, there's
Yeah.
a photo of Zelda here,
Yeah.
and then there's the shield. So it could be Link died, and then she has a bunch of his stuff up in honor, or it's the other way around.
Hmm.
We'll have to ask for
He was-
clarification.
Yeah. He
I'm
was
sad
frozen.
now.
He was frozen.
Or he went to sleep in Breath of the Wild for like forever, like
Yeah.
100 years.
Yeah. God, that game is so good. So these are the references. And then I also pulled, and I'll just also go to the Discord chat, but I wanted to read Ivan's critique that Ivan gave, posted this reference, and then said, less displacement and bump on the carpet and bricks. Maybe bring more blue bounce light from the window into the room with some volumetrics. Give more contrast and nice complementary scheme. Make the left area of the image way darker because it's not so important. Everything right now is lit a bit evenly. So this was the reference they submitted. And let's go back to this. I think all of that definitely rings true. I wonder what everyone else thinks. Anyone have any thoughts based on what Ivan said or what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think that's really good feedback. I think like we need to balance out the light and shadow a little bit. So if you look at like the bookcases and then the shadows that it's casting, like right above it or right to the next of it, the bookcases are lit really bright and even for the light source being like a couple candles, but then the shadows are a little bit too dark. I think so. If you look at that reference that Ivan like picked from the reference plate, it's like the shadows aren't that black. So there's like a level of ambient light, but then also the light, it's like brightest right next to the sources, but it does get darker as it moves away, but it never goes to black. So I think that kind of balances what we want to try to create.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was gonna say like for the window to the right that's pushing
Mhm.
in the blue light. I was wondering if you like wanted to like increase that up and like expand
Mhm.
it around the room some more as like a bit of a fill on that side, maybe. It's very subtle the way it is now, but I think it could add a
Mhm.
lot of like variation to what you're doing.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I'm now just
Like
noticing there's a
zooming
little
into
bit.
Go ahead.
I was just saying I'm now noticing the tiniest bit of blue hits
Oh yeah,
here,
oh, yeah.
but like did not notice them. Um, like and until I started combing through the image. You
Yeah,
wanted me
those
to
are
go back to this?
yeah, like how it's hitting the floor and how it's like filling out some areas to the left while the warm light is taking care of the right. I think you can like really just go a little crazy with it and then pull it back later.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, definitely if you look at his like reference plate, on multiple of the actually all the ones on the bottom, the blue light there is creating a level of fill, like
Mhm.
Aaron just said. Like on the bottom right one, you see it in the foreground. A cool, like, obviously the window is on the other side, but we still know that there's like a little bit of cool fill coming from that. And then similarly for the other ones. So yeah, definitely would add more of the influence of that cool light.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, both of you.
The fire looks really good though. It's just me.
No, it's
Like,
great.
is that an asset? I don't think so, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I will.
Compton. I don't think the fire comes with it. I think that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to me it looks like this geo might be buried in the carpet.
Oh,
Maybe like there's a bump on it that's kind of competing,
yeah. Yeah, maybe the bump is a little bit strong. Like,
or a
like Ivan.
displacement.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my bad. I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like there's a lot of potential to like
Mhm.
have this played up more,
Mm-hmm.
but right now it really doesn't go past like hitting the shield a little bit and the wall, and so like in the reference that you were talking, I mean, like I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but I definitely agree. I think right now yours is, I think Jesse's
Yeah.
is closer to this, but I wish it was, or not, I wish it was. I think there's a lot of potential, like Ivan was saying, and what you are saying, to live in this kind of space, especially
Mm-hmm.
with it being like you kind of based around the Legend of Zelda, and um, I think there's like potential to use that to help tell the story and um, play with those complementary colors.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of potential to kind of use the candlelights as like um motivation for the ambient light, like a warm ambient light, but not necessarily have their direct influence be super brighter and then have sharp fall off like in those top references, but just like use it as motivation for ambient light and then have some of the blue light be the main players.
Mhm.
It would be interesting, I think.
Yeah. Anybody else?
References are really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
If it were me, I'd play around a little bit with some volumetrics.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. Sweet. All right, so lastly, we have a submission from Chris, who I don't think was able to make it today, but this is a personal project about the like revelations at Blizzard Activision, with all their terrible frat culture and yeah, just terrible practices. So this is eventually going to be a Hearthstone emblem that they're working on modeling right now. So a lot of this is kind of just in look dev phase at the moment. So yeah, does anyone have any thoughts right off the bat? Also, this is the same asset, if you couldn't tell. That we
Library.
It took me a minute to realize that, and I was like, oh man, this is the same room.
Yeah, it looks different.
It's interesting seeing it at a different angle, and it completely changed it for me. Any thoughts right off the bat?
I wonder how much they changed in terms of textures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like they probably did a good bit. I don't remember these stones being with the original, nor the Stark wood.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could work on hiding the seam between the stone wall and the wood floor,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe put a little bit more of a displacement or a bump on the stones so that they feel kind of set into this like mortar. Right now it all feels kind of flat. I feel like the wood of this desk, or this the bookshelves and the wood of the table are two different colors, but they're so close that it's throwing me off a little bit. That could just 100% be me though.
Yeah, the color. I mean, the color. I think it's not a. It's fine. You mean the color, right?
Yeah. What's
Yeah,
standing
I
out to
mean,
you about it?
it's like flat lighting. So with lighting, it would be different.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, look dev wise, I mean, I think it's coming along. It's like a very work in progress, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's cool. I'm excited to see it grow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying.
I'd maybe add some surface imperfections to the shield, maybe some specularity, like some to make it look like a bit older metal.
mhm.
It's a good
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, that's definitely a great idea. Because everything like the walls look old, so
Yeah.
I think matching that level of wear would be a good direction.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I know that this is look dev, but framing wise, I would like right now, all of the action takes place in this like 1/3.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would, if, like just in case this is like kind of the direction you're going with the camera, I would look into like playing around to like giving this, kind of more precedence in the frame. Maybe even just by kind of taking that and moving it here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's if you're starting to get into camera angle stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it's different to see a character in here too. So I would say, like, having the character in front of the bookcase, like the bookcase has a lot of complicated shapes, a little bit, like lots of small angles. So having the character in front of that might be a little tricky to keep the focus on the character. But yeah, as you said, it's probably not the final angle or anything. So something to keep in mind, I think.
Yeah, that's a great thought. I mean, like, okay, let's quickly go look at the asset.
Mhm. Also, shout out to Danny.
Yeah.
Congratulations for
Yeah.
being in the lighting challenge, making it.
I'm just looking around the room thinking.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks like you've kind of like made this table bigger.
Mm.
Um, and you're right. This side of the room's very busy, but this side isn't. So maybe there's a world play around with like what it would look like to have this, because like right now, like our eye is being drawn to this, but like I know that you'll have like the Hearthstone emblem here, and so maybe playing around with like a less complicated background, and even like I bet there's a world in which you can kind of play with some either volumetric or just lighting that like like accentuates the story or where you want the viewer to look.
Yeah, I was gonna say that having a window in the back is always just like it opens up a world of opportunity for lighting wise. Could work. I feel like there's scenarios where like having a window and some light coming through it would work well with this guy's face.
Yeah, I'd love to see some reference. Send us your moody boy reference. We want to see it. This is cool, and also I'm very sorry about Hearthstone and Blizzard.
Cool. Thank you for submitting, everybody.
Yeah, thank you everybody for submitting, for giving feedback, and for being a part of the community.